Good morning, my dear students. How are you? I think you are all good. Okay. So I am Lakshmi from Bhadra PU College, Davangere. I will be handling economics subject for you in this first PUC. Okay. See, in first year you will be having 4 subjects and 2 languages. Which are the 4 subjects? In that you will be studying about business studies, economics, accountancy, then statistics or computer science, and other 2 languages will be Kannada, English. Okay, Kannada or Hindi plus English. So you will be totally studying about 4 subjects and 2 languages. Okay, so today we shall know about the economics topics what you have already studied in the high school level. Okay, because in this first PUC you will be having some of the chapters what you have already studied in the high school level in this economics subject. Okay. So this economics concept you might have come across in this social science subject in your high school level, isn't it? In the social science you might have studied about history, geography, sociology, political science, economics, isn't it? So in this PUC level in commerce stream you will be studying about economics as one of the separate subject. Okay, it will be helpful for you for various reasons and it's very easy subject. So now first let me tell you about the topics what you have studied in your high school level. First tell me what do you mean by economics? See, economics is a social science which is concerned about the production, distribution and consumption of goods and services, isn't it? What is economics actually? What is economics? See, economics is a social science which is concerned about the production, isn't it? Production, distribution and consumption of goods and services. Okay, see, mainly economics deals about these 3 factors or these 3 concepts. Which are those? Firstly, we have production. What do you mean by production generally? Production means conversion of raw materials into output or conversion of input into output. Output means what? Good or a product, isn't it? So production and ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಆಗಿರೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನೋನ್ ಆಸ್ ವಾಟ್? ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾವ ತಗೋತೀರಾ ನೀವು? ರಾ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಮೆಷಿನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, isn't it? Machinery tools. By using the machinery tools, isn't it? Then other resources like money, labor, etc. So by using all these things, after processing it, you can convert the input into output. What do you mean by output? Output ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀರಾ, ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀರಾ ಅಥವಾ ಸರ್ವೀಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಓಕೆ, then we are having other concept like distribution. What do you mean by distribution? See, after producing a product or a good, can you give one example for good or a product? For example, vehicle. Okay, 4-wheeler vehicle. If you take car is a product, isn't it? So vehicle, like that. See, after producing a product, that will be distributed in the market with the help of a distributors ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಒಂದು ವಸ್ತು ತಯಾರಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಕಂಪ್ನಿ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್. ಆದರೆ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು? Market is a place where buyer and sellers meet each other for exchanging the goods or a service, isn't it? With the help of money, isn't it? If you want to buy a product, you need money. You need to pay that amount for a seller, then you can buy the product, isn't it? So distribution. So with the help of a distributors, the producer will sell these products into the market. He will distribute those produced goods or services into the market. Then we have a other term like consumption. What do you mean by consumption? You might have come across a word like customer or a consumer. Customer andre yaru? See, customer is a person who purchases a product or a service, isn't it? Consumer is a person who purchases a good or a service and uses it for himself. ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಗ್ರಾಹಕ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಗ್ರಾಹಕ ಆದಂಥವ್ರು ಅಂದರೆ ಸೊ ಒಂದು ವಸ್ತುನ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದನ್ನು ಅವ್ರಿಗಾರು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರಿಗಾರು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು, ಹೌದಾನೆ? ಹಾಗಾದರೆ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು? ಈಸ್ ಅ ಎಂಡ್ ಯೂಸರ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್. ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಇಟ್, isn't it? Product or a service, whatever you take. There is a little bit of differences between a product and a service. Product andre enappa andre it is tangible in nature. What do you mean by tangibility? See, tangibility means a thing or a substance what I can see, isn't it? I can touch. That is known as what? Tangibility. Whereas service is intangible in nature. Service intangible ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಏನಾಗಾದ್ರೆ intangibility ಅಂದರೆ a substance or a thing which cannot be seen, okay, which cannot be touched, we can just feel it. ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ ಅಲ್ವಾ? even we cannot touch it, ಮುಟ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, but we can just feel it. That is known as what? Service. For example, the information what I am giving you, just you can listen it, you can understand it, but can you say how much you have understood? No, isn't it? Means what? The service is intangible in nature, but this product, it's having a physical identity because it can be seen, it can be touched, okay? So in the market, both products and services will be manufactured and it will be distributed for a consumer. Tell me, why does a producer do this? Why the production process takes place in a company? See, after producing a product or a good or a service, that producer will sell that into the market for different number of consumers or a customers. Why? Means to earn what? To earn profit. Profit ಅಂದರೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು? ಲಾಭ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಬರಬೇಕು. Hence we say that the main objective of any organization, if you take, is to maximize its profit. ಆದಷ್ಟು ನಂಗೆ ಲಾಭ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬರಲಿ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಂಪ್ನಿ ಕೂಡ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಥವಾ ಗೋಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ ದಟ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್? ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಈಸ್ concerned with production, distribution and consumption of goods and services. I think you are clear with the economics meaning, isn't it? Then it studies, see, not only this economics, what does it do? Means apart from this, economics studies how individuals, businesses, governments and nations make choices about how to allocate resources. Okay, see, economics tells us about how to allocate the resources. Means mainly we can say that it tells about the allocation of resources. It tells about the allocation of resources. Allocation of resources. It tells about the allocation of resources. Means how to allot the resources, how to distribute the resources properly so that we can manage all the activities in a business properly. Not only in business, even for an individual, isn't it? How to spend the money can be understood by using this concept. And even among the nations, even nationwide, we are using this economic concept, isn't it? How to develop our economic conditions can be understood by the application of this economic concept. Okay. So then after this, let me tell you about what is the importance of studying this economics. Why is it important? Importance of studying economics. Economist professor by name Samuelson has termed economics as a stream of social science. One of the economist professor, that is Professor Samuelson, he says that economics as a stream of social science, and he has given certain important points about why we have to study economics. ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಆದಂಥವ್ರು ಯಾರಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ ಸ್ಯಾಮ್ಯುಲ್ಸನ್ ಅನ್ನೋರು ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಮುಖ್ಯತೆ ಏನಿದೆ, ಅದು ಓದಿದರೆ ಏನು ಉಪಯೋಗ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಥವಾ ಅದ್ರ ಪ್ರಾಮುಖ್ಯತೆ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿಂಗ್ economics has a lot of importance to the human beings in different aspects. See, for people or for human beings, what is happening is we are having a various usefulness by studying this economics. So let me tell you about that now. Okay. So he says that we are having three important points why we should study this economics, that is intellectual value, secondly practical value, practical purpose, thirdly we have government policies. Government policies. Government policies, or we can say it as government bodies. So firstly, if you take intellectual values, intellectual value, first important point why we should study this economics is intellectual value. Tell me, what do you mean by intellectual? Intellectual ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀರಾ ಇದನ್ನ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬೌದ್ಧಿಕ ಅಥವಾ ಬುದ್ಧಿಶಕ್ತಿಯ ಬುದ್ಧಿವಂತ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಲ್ವಾ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ. ಸೊ ಆದರೆ ಇಂಟೆಲೆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಸಿ ಇಂಟೆಲೆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ we may say that he is a very intellectual person. What do you mean by this then? He is a person who engages in critical thinking, in research work and reflection about the reality of society, and he proposes various solutions for problems in the society. Okay, who is a intellectually a intellectual means what? I may say that he is a very intellectual guy. ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಇಂಟೆಲೆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಬೌದ್ಧಿಕ ಅಥವಾ ಬುದ್ಧಿವಂತಿಕ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಬುದ್ಧಿಶಕ್ತಿಯ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಹಾಗಾದರೆ ಏನಿದೆ ಇಂಟೆಲೆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ? Intellectual means he is a person who is having a critical thinking and who does a research work. Okay, along with that he is a reflection of various reality of society, and he always gives the solution for various problems in the society. Okay, so intellectual person ಅಂತೇನು ಬೌದ್ಧಿಕ ಅಂತ ಕರೆದ್ವಲ್ವಾ, ಅಥವಾ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಶಕ್ತಿಯ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಆ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಆದಂಥವ್ರು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ ಜನರಲಿ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ವರ್ಕ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಏನೇ ಒಂದು ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ತೊಂದರೆ ಇದ್ದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಆ ತೊಂದರೆಯಿಂದ ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ ಹೊರಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನಾ ರೀತಿ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿತಾರೆ. ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಟ್ರೈಂಗ್ ಟು ಕಮ್ ಅಪ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ or the problems what are existing in the society. So that is known as what? Intellectual. Okay, then how can you understand this intellectual value here? So after understanding the meaning of intellectual, you can easily understand about this intellectual value. Economics is very important because it's having a intellectual value. So firstly we can say that the study of economics increases the intellectual value of human beings. Okay, the study of economics increases the intellectual value of human beings. By studying this economics, people can increase their intellectual value. ಅಲ್ವಾ, ನಾವು ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಓದೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಬುದ್ಧಿವಂತಿಕೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಇಟ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಸ್ him to realize that he depends on others in order to fulfill his day-to-day needs. See this, by studying this economics, we can say that, we can understand that we are interdependent on each other for various reasons. ಅಲ್ವಾ, ನಾನಾ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಒಬ್ಬರ ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರು ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಯಾಕೆ ನಾವು ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಂದರೆ ವಿ ವಾಂಟ್ ಎ ಕಂಫರ್ಟ್ ಝೋನ್, isn't it? So due to this interdependency we are leading a proper life, isn't it? For example, if you take, we have a producer, consumer, then seller, marketing person, like this. See, everybody is depending on each other. Directly a producer, always directly a producer cannot give the service for a consumer, isn't it? There he might be having a distributor to exchange the product what he had produced from his place to the, that is from company to the distribution place. Then distributor will be giving it to the retailer. From retailer I may purchase a product as a consumer, isn't it? Means not only that, even we are depending on other nations, isn't it, for technological purpose, or for getting the different technology oriented goods, or for getting different kind of services, isn't it? So we can say that this interdependency will make us to have a comfort zone of life, isn't it? So hence we say that it helps to realize that people are depending on each other in our day-to-day life for various reasons. ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಒಬ್ಬರ ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರು ಅವಲಂಬಿತರಾಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ದ ಥಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡೆನ್ಸಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಸ್ ದ ಕೋಆಪರೇಟಿವ್ ಔಟ್ಲುಕ್ ಅಮಾಂಗ್ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ. See, when there is a dependency on each other, what happens? The cooperation starts ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಒಬ್ರಿಗೊಬ್ರು ನಾವು ಹೊಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. When we understand that when there is a interdependency on each other, we give importance for cooperation among the people. Not only among the people, it says that even the cooperation among the district, among different states within country, within our nation if you take, or among the nations also, cooperation is very much needed. Next, people think in a balanced manner, isn't it? When there is an interdependency, what happens? We will think in a balanced manner. Balanced manner means both the parties want to have a win-win situation ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಈಗ ಇಬ್ಬರು ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ, if you have a two persons, both want to get a benefit out of it, isn't it? For example, if you take, you are having a producer and a consumer. See what happens here, a producer want to sell the product what he had produced, and you want to sell it and you want to get the profit out of it. And consumer, what you want to purchase a very good quality good by paying a price what it is, and you want a very good service, very good satisfaction by using that product, isn't it? So we can say that we will be having a balanced manner in this. Next, it further improves the decision making ability of an individual. Very important, isn't it? Decision making. What do you mean by decision making? ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ವಾ, ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್. See, decision making means selecting a best alternative among the different alternatives that is available. ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಆಲ್ಟರ್ನೇಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದು ಬೆಸ್ಟೋ ಅದು ನೀವು ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಏನಂತ ಕರಿಬೋದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್. ಸಿ, ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಆನ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಡ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇಂಟೆಲೆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ. Okay, and moving on to the second thing, that is practical purpose. What do you mean by this practical purpose? It says that an individual becomes a better and more efficient consumer or a manufacturer or a trader with improved decision making ability. Okay, see, who is a manufacturer? He is also individual, isn't it? Who is a consumer? He is also individual, but he never produces the goods. He just purchases the goods and he uses it. ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಗ್ರಾಹಕ ಆದಂಥವನೇನು, ಅವರು ಒಬ್ಬರು ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿನೇ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾರು ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ನ? ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ ಆದವರು ಕೂಡ ಅವರು ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿನೇ. ಹಾಗಾದರೆ ಯಾರೇ ಆಗಲಿ, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್ ಅ ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರರ್ ಆರ್ ಎ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ ಆರ್ ಎ ಟ್ರೇಡರ್ or a consumer, anybody if you take, they will have a proper decision making ability by studying this economics. So economics ನ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ, ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್ನ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾರು? ಎ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಹೂ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸಸ್ ಆರ್ ಹೂ ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಅ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಎ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್, isn't it? Then we have other thing like consumer. Consumer means who purchase goods and uses it ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಗ್ರಾಹಕ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ. ಗ್ರಾಹಕ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಒಂದು ವಸ್ತು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಮತ್ತು ಅದನ್ನು ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಇನ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫೈಡ್ ವಿತ್ ಇಟ್. ಆರ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ಎ ಟ್ರೇಡರ್, isn't it? Who is a trader? What do you mean by trading? Trading means what? Buying and selling of goods and services in the market, isn't it? Or exchange of goods and services. It happens between a buyer and a seller. Okay, so trader ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಯಾರೇ ಆಗಲಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ತಗೋಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, apart from this, economics also helps a consumer to control the expenditure in view of his income. Okay, see, by understanding this economics, very most important is we have to control the expenditure. Control the expenditure. For whom we are telling? For a consumer. According to the availability of money with him, a consumer had to spend the money to buy any kind of goods or a service ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲೇಬೇಕು. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ 100 rupees, you have to try to purchase a product which amount is equal to ₹100 or less than that. Okay, don't purchase a product which is having a price of ₹110 like that. That is what economics ಅಂದರೆ ಇರೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ಅಮೌಂಟಲ್ಲೇ ಏನೇ ಒಂದು ವಸ್ತು ಆಗಲಿ, ಒಂದು ಸೇವೆ ಆಗಲಿ ನೀವು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂದರೆ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಸ್ ಎ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ ಟು ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಚರ್ ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಹಿಸ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್. ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಎಷ್ಟು ದುಡ್ಡಿದೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ತಕ್ಕಂಗೆ. ಓಕೆ, such a control brings maximum satisfaction to the consumer. See, when you are doing this kind of activity, that is when you are purchasing some product according to the amount which is available with you or based on the amount what you are having, now what happens? It gives a maximum satisfaction for a consumer, isn't it? ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಖುಷಿ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಬೇರೆ ಹತ್ರ ಇಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಎಷ್ಟಿತ್ತೋ ದುಡ್ಡು ಅಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲೇ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅಲ್ವಾ. Then it helps the producers to choose a perfect option from available resources. Among the different available resources, a person can choose the best resource. So that is possible by understanding economics, and optimize the utilization of available resources in order to earn profit. Okay, see, whatever the resource I use, I have to take a maximum utilization of this. Maximum utilization ಅಂದ್ರೇನು, ಅದರಿಂದ ಎಷ್ಟು ಉಪಯೋಗ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ ಅಷ್ಟನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಪಡಿಬೇಕು. ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್ ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಲ್ವಾ. ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಂತೀರಾ ನೀವು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ? ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಡೂ ದ, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಯುಟಿಲೈಸೇಷನ್. Maximum utilization of resources. Maximum utilization of resources. It helps a producer. Producer means a manufacturer also you can take. A producer will select a proper resource and he will have a maximum utilization of resources to gain what? To get profit. ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ ಆದಂಥವ್ರು ಏನೇನು ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ನ ಪಡಿತಾರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಏನೇ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಇರಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಅಲೋಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಯುಟಿಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಏನು ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. So after utilizing the resources to a maximum extent, we can say that the production process might be in a proper way so that he can get a what? Profit, isn't it? So that he can fulfill his one of his objective. It also helps the sellers and traders to determine the correct price of their goods. Okay? Economics help us to fix a proper price of goods. ಯಾರು ಪ್ರೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಟಜಿ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಮೈಟ್ ಬಿ ಅ ಸೆಲ್ಲರ್ ಆರ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೈಟ್ ಬಿ ಅ ಟ್ರೇಡರ್. ಟ್ರೇಡರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಸೆಲ್ಲರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ ಅ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಪ್ರೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಓವರ್ ದೇರ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಸ್. ಒಂದು ಸರಿಯಾದ ಬೆಲೆಯನ್ನು ಇಡ್ತಾರೆ ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ? ವಸ್ತುಗಳಿಗೆ. ಓಕೆ, so it also helps the sellers or a trader to make a proper pricing of goods and services. So this is about the practical purpose of studying economics. Thirdly, we have government bodies, isn't it? Government bodies. So how does it help the government bodies? By studying this economics, how it is going to favor this government bodies then? It is essential for any government to earn revenue for building, isn't it? It is essential for any government to earn revenue for building, maintaining and developing the economy of a nation. For any government, if you take, it will be having one of its objective as to earn more and more revenue. How? By building certain companies, you can say, isn't it? By building or by maintaining and by developing the economy of a nation. Always any government, if you take, its main aim is to earn revenue. See, when it is getting the revenue, we can say that the economy can develop in a very good manner. Okay, as a result, it leads to the economic growth also. Okay, then economics helps government to frame proper monetary and fiscal policies as well as tax policies. See, this economics helps the government to prepare what? Monetary policies, fiscal policies and tax policies. Okay, this government, no, this economics helps government to formulate, means to make different types of policies. Which are those different types of policies? Fiscal policies, monetary policies, then other thing is tax policies. Okay, by using this economic concept you can formulate, means the government can formulate this fiscal policies, monetary policies and tax policies. Then what do you mean by this? Firstly, if you take fiscal policy, what is meant by this? It is the means by which a government adjusts its spending levels and tax rate in order to monitor and influence a nation's economy. Okay, here in fiscal policy, here a government will plan regarding the expenditure. Okay, and what is the mode of getting revenue, how much to spend on which sector, everything will be decided. Then by having a proper plan regarding the expenditure and the income, what happens? Every nation can have a proper plan, isn't it? Then after that, what happens? When you are having a proper plan, you can implement it in a proper way so that you can have a proper economic development, isn't it? Then even fiscal policy also helps the government to decide how much money it should spend to support the economic activities. Okay, along with this, the economics will help the government to think about how much money the government had to spend on the different economic activities in the society and how much revenue it can earn, isn't it? Then how the system run in the society, means overall the economic conditions, how it will be. So this is about fiscal policies. Then moving on to this one, that is monetary policies. What do you mean by this monetary policy? It is a macroeconomic policy. Monetary policy means it's a macroeconomic policy given by the central bank. Can you tell me which is a central bank in India? Yes, it is Reserve Bank of India, RBI, what we call. RBI is a central bank in India. So it is a macroeconomic policy which will be given by whom? By RBI. It is by Reserve Bank of India. Okay, Reserve Bank of India is a central bank of India. It involves the management of money supply and interest rate. What does it do? RBI ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ it tells about the money supply, how it is, and it controls the money supply in our economy, and along with that it fixes the interest rate, isn't it? Then the main aim of RBI is to manage the quantity of money in order to meet the requirements of different sectors of the economy and to improve the economic growth. See, the main aim or the main objective of RBI is, it tells that its main aim is to manage the supply of money in a proper way so that our economic condition is in a proper way. Okay, and even it lends the money for different banks in our country so that as an individual we can avail the loan facility from the banks. Okay, and along with that it is going to supply or it will be giving a loan even for the different companies. It will be supplying the money for different sectors in our economy. Have you come across a concept like different sectors in our economy? Yes, we have 3 different sectors in our economy, that is primary sector, secondary and tertiary. In primary you can say agriculture sector, secondary is manufacturing companies, thirdly that is tertiary, we call it as a service sector. Today service sector is giving a more contribution towards our economic growth in our country, that is in India. Okay. Another one is what your tax policies. What do you mean by tax policies? See, this will be framed by the government itself. Here the government will decide on what product, okay, in which sector how much of tax has to be paid by the individuals in our economy. If everyone is paying the tax properly, it also one of the revenue generating method for our country, so that even we can have a proper improvement in our nation, in our economy. Okay. It is, the next thing is, the next important is, it is very supportive factor for government to understand the complex problems like unemployment, poverty and inflation. Unemployment, poverty, inflation. What do you mean by this unemployment? See, government can frame a proper rules regarding what? Removal of unemployment, poverty and to come out of this inflation situation by using this economic concept. So first tell me, what do you mean by unemployment? Unemployment means it is one of the problem in our society what we are facing today. Not only today, from earlier days itself we are facing this problem, isn't it? What is this unemployment means? Unemployment means it's a situation where people are unable to get a job according to their skill set, or they are unable to get a job. So when there is no job, what happens? It will lead to a poverty. What do you mean by poverty then? It is also one of the social problem. What do you mean by poverty? ಬಡತನ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಲ್ವಾ. So poverty ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it's a situation where people are unable to get a basic needs like food, shelter and clothing. That is known as what? Poverty. So this is poverty. Then inflation. What do you mean by inflation? See, inflation means it's a situation where the product price is rising but the availability of money with the people is less. So as a result the people cannot buy those products. ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ವಸ್ತು ಬೆಲೆ ತುಂಬ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಆದರೆ ಜನಗಳದನ್ನು ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ದುಡ್ಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೇಷನ್. See, this economics helps the government to solve all these unemployment, poverty, inflation and even other social problems in our economy. Okay, how means it helps the government to make a proper rules and proper principles and proper programs. It helps a government to formulate a proper programs in order to remove all these social problems like unemployment, poverty, inflation, like that. Okay, even some other social problems can be removed by using this economic concept. Okay, in this way the government can take a help or avail the help by understanding this economics. Okay, so this is about the importance of studying of economics. So we have how many? 3 points over here, that is intellectual value, practical purpose and another one is government bodies. Okay, so now we have understood about what is economics, then why you should study economics and all, isn't it? Now let me tell you the topics what you have already studied in your high school level in the economics part. Okay, see, in your high school level you had a separate economics part over there which might be containing 1 or 2 chapters, isn't it? No need to worry, even in first PUC you will be studying economics in a very easier manner. It will also be easy and we are having a connection between the topics what you have studied in high school level and what you will be studying in first PUC level. So let me tell you the topics, revise the topics what you have studied in your earlier high school level classes. Okay, see there you came across the concept like human wants are unlimited but the resources are limited, isn't it? Human wants are unlimited but the resources are limited. Human wants are unlimited but the resources are limited. ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಏನಿದೆನೋ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ನೀಡ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ಇದು, ವಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಟೆಲಿಂಗ್. ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ವಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆನೋ ಅದು ಅನ್ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ವಿ ನೆವರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ನಾವು ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಸಾಕಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಬಟ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲ ಅಂತ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ವಾ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ನೇಚರ್. ಅದಿಷ್ಟೇ ಅಂತಿರುತ್ತೆ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ನಾವು ತುಂಬ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋದಂಗೆ ಏನಾಗ್ಬಿಡತ್ತೆ, it gets lesser and lesser, isn't it? It gets exploited, we can say, in one or the other way. So when we are having this concept, that is human wants are unlimited but the resources are limited. So as a result, what is happening here, there one of the problem is arising. What is that problem? It leads to the problem of what? Scarcity of resources, isn't it? So it gives rise to what? Problem of scarcity. Problem of scarcity. Why does the problem of scarcity arises in the society or in the economy? Because human wants are unlimited but the resources are limited ಅಲ್ವಾ. ನಮ್ಮ ಆಸೆಗಳು ಏನಪ್ಪ, ನಮ್ಮ ವಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ ಮನುಷ್ಯದು ತುಂಬಾ ಇದೆ, ಅತಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಅವೈಲಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪನೇ ಇರೋದು ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲೇನು ಶುರು ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಂಥ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ದೇರ್ ಯು ಕಮ್ ಅಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಅ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ scarcity. When there is a scarcity, other problem in the society also arises, isn't it? This is what you have studied. And I said that very important word like resource. What do you mean by this resource? ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಲ್ವಾ. ಆಗ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ, ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಬ್ರಾಡ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಇಂಡಿಕೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಇನ್ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದರ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್, ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್, ಕನ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್, ಓಕೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸರ್ವೀಸಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಟ್ರಾ. ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಮುಖ್ಯ. ಯಾಕಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಡಿಕೇಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್. ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಟು ಕಂಡಕ್ಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ನ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅಥವಾ ಇಫ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಕಂಡಕ್ಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್, ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್, ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್, ಕನ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಟ್ರಾ. ಸೊ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ದೇ ಆರ್ ದ ಯೂಸೇಜ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ದೆನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್? ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಟೆಲ್ ಮೀ? ಎಸ್, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್. In that, if you take, very important thing is natural resources. Natural resources. Isn't it? Natural resources. What do you mean by this natural resources? They are naturally occurring substances that are considered valuable in its natural form. So the substance which is naturally occurring and which is having a various uses can be called as what? Natural resources. It's very important. Then what are the examples you can take for this natural resources? You can take the example like sunlight, plants, trees, isn't it? Water, air, all these are what? Natural resources. It's all gift of nature what we are using now, isn't it? So it is known as what? Natural resources. Then after this you might have studied about the different types of natural resources, where under the heading like classification of resources, isn't it? Classification of natural resources. There you come across two types of natural resources, that is renewable resources and another one is non-renewable resources. Non-renewable resources. Renewable resources and non-renewable resources. What do you mean by this renewable resource? So renewable resource means these are the natural resources which get replenished as we use them. Means these resources can be obtained again and again after the usage. That can be called as what? Renewable resources. Okay. Examples, if you take water, land, forest, isn't it? Sunlight, etc. All these are what? Renewable resources. Then what do you mean by non-renewable resources? See, non-renewable resources means these are the resources which cannot be obtained again and again. It gets exhausted after the usage. That is known as what? Non-renewable resources. Non-renewable resource ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ ಆಗಿಂದ ಹಾಗೆ ನೀವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇರಲ್ಲ ಅದು. Okay, what happens is after the usage it gets exhausted. Again and again you cannot obtain that. That is known as what? Non-renewable resources. Example, you can take copper, petrol, gold, etc. Isn't it? So hence we say that usage of non-renewable resources is very important because it cannot be obtained again and again. Isn't it? When it is not obtaining very frequently, what happens? The prices of such resource, it increases very frequently, isn't it? So this about renewable resources and non-renewable resources.